Hey YouTube, and thanks for watching Junkworks Garage. Well, fortunately, you're seeing a banner of the Wildfire lift here, because really do love this lift. But unfortunately, I have broke another bearing here. We have another bearing failure, I will say. So both times, my truck was on the lift. Now I know my truck is not above the weight limit of this rig. It's around 6,500 pounds with all the crap I have in it. But it appears to be the same bearing. So I do wonder if when I have the real heavy truck on here, if there is something going on in that area that is not quite leveled right, or if there's a problem with it, or if it is just the bearings kind of suck on these things. I have not had a problem with any of the rest of them. It appears to be the same one. I got to get my truck off the lift before I can make sure what it is, and I'll probably bring you along for the ride as far as that's concerned as well. But it did fail. I will show you the bearings. The only reason it made a big bing bang pop noise, and then it started making the pop noises as I was bringing my truck down. I stopped, I put it on its locks, I went around, and sure enough there was bearings on the ground. So I'll show those to you. Yeah, yet again, although I mean I'm always cautious, we'll put it that way, I'm not worried. I wasn't worried about it falling on me or anything like that. I've talked about this in other videos, and they don't pay me. This company, the only thing I got free shipping from them. They shipped it to me, but I paid for the rest of it all on my own, and they sent me this banner right here. Those are the only two things I got, which I don't know what the banner cost. It's cool. Could care less whether or not I had it or not. It's cool to have it though. And as far as the shipping, I don't know, a couple $100 at the time. I got a really good deal on this lift at the time because I got it before the prices went up on them. I'll show you the bearings yet again, and we'll come back and we'll kind of figure out what's going on. Here's the bearings here. We got two that are full, just bearings that popped out. But this time I did notice that I do have one that has snapped in half. Like I've seen in a couple other videos, or at least one in particular, it does appear that these bearings have kind of a hard shell on the outside, and I don't know what it's made of on the inside, but there's definitely some inclusions, I would call it, in this, almost a casting, but I don't know. I don't know what they're made out of. I don't know why this particular one keeps failing, and I don't know what the reasoning behind it is. I do know it does, both times it was when my truck was on the lift, so I do think weight has something to do with it. I just don't know if these bearings can hold up to 9,000 pounds. Yet again, if you read their instructional stuff, that weight doesn't count the pure vehicle. It is kind of like jack stands. You got to have two jack stands to add up to the weight limits of jack stands and things like that. Your weight needs to be dispersed, is what I'm trying to say. This thing is quite front heavy, I will say, but the bearing that's going bad is in the back where the lightest part of the truck is. But I don't know if that bearing holds more front weight or what. But regardless, needless to say, I'm going to give them a call up. I'm going to find out if they have changed their design for these bearings, which could be some of the reason why the prices went up on them. I'm hoping, and I'm going to see if they have changed them, and if they have gotten better quality bearings. I will have them see if they'll send me another one, or find out what they cost, because this thing isn't in warranty anymore, I don't believe. If they haven't changed their process, I will probably be going to a different type of bearing. I will say I'm not an unhappy customer. This lift has saved me in trouble, all kinds of stuff. Yet again, I was not worried about my safety so much, bringing it down off the lift. I could probably lift it up and down a couple more times without any problems at all, but I'm just more afraid I would ruin more of the machine and have to replace more parts, so therefore I'm not going to do that. A whole bunch of things would have to fail before I worried about this actually falling or dropping the way this is set up. It's not going to come off of that pulley, and even if it did, even if the pulley completely went away, it wouldn't go through the pin that's holding the pulley. The cable would not go through that pin by the time you got it down off your lift. Yet again, you know, you're responsible for your own safety and what you do with your equipment, but I personally am not worried about this. If the bearings fail, like they have a couple times now, I'm not worried about it falling on me or being unsafe at that moment in time. I took it very slow, got it down off, it made pops and bings, and it went down just fine. So, such as it is, hopefully it doesn't shy you away from maybe this product, but it is something you need to think about. Yet again, even if the price is going up on this particular lift, I do believe they're still one of the lower cost ones that are not cheap, I will say. And I think that it's still better than some of the more expensive ones as far as that's concerned. So, as far as the safety part. All right, well, I'm going to give them a call and we'll come back and find out what my plan is from here. So, I have since talked to Brad on the phone. That is the son, one of the owners of the company. It's a father-son, family-owned kind of thing. And yet again, my brain does not function completely well, so we're going to say it's my interpretation of the phone call we had, because I won't remember word for word the phone call we had, and it's been a little while ago. That's the first thing. Second thing, I am going to be doing an actual video of installing the bearings, or I should say pulleys, that he's sending me in another video. So this is going to be mostly me looking at the products I got from them and the information on that, and my version of our phone call, and just me talking for the most part. So hopefully enjoy this. But I figure if I put this in and do a video on installing these pulleys, nobody will watch it. So here we go. First, the phone call. Admittedly, I actually, just to kind of test, because I gotta say, yet again, bar none, there has never been a better service that I've had than the last time I talked to them. So I wanted to see if I call that number on their website, what happens. So I called the number from the website. Two reasons. I have his personal number, or I thought I had his personal number. It's the number that I was given to get a hold of him. And I thought, well, you know what? I don't really want to bug him about this again. So I want to see just kind of if I was to call in and who I would talk to and how, how they would actually deal with a customer that maybe they didn't know. So I was assuming I was going to get a hold of a customer service person by now. Because, you know, but even though it is a family-owned company, I figured, you know, they might have hired somebody by now. Well, lo and behold, it was actually it ended up being his answer machine. And he called me not too long right after that, actually, and said, hey, you know, you said you had a problem. And because I left him a message saying, we got another bearing problem here. And I thought it was the exact same one. I will say it is not the exact same one. It's the one that was above the one that I messed up last time, but either way, the parts are going to work. And I do think that the reason maybe that one failed this time was because the last one failed, causing that one to probably take the brunt of the work for a while, and it finally, whatever little minute thing that I did to it, or the extra pressure that it took this whole time, maybe caused that one to go a little bit bad. So it, you know, may have been going bad for the whole entire time because I didn't replace the one above it. I just replaced the one that broke. But regardless, He actually called me back a couple minutes later, and it was actually the son. It was Brad that called me back. And so yet again, if you call them up, more than likely you're going to be talking to the dad, the father, or the son in this company. So, you know, there you go. Now you know. I question whether or not it would still be that way, and it still is. And, you know, we went over the discussion, and he did tell me that when COVID hit, they had some supply problems with certain companies, and the bearings, unfortunately, they couldn't keep the ones that they normally put in their machines at the time. They couldn't get enough of them, so they went to another supplier, and kind of, but yet again, I don't remember exactly how everything went, but by the way it sounded to me was they kind of were supplementing their original bearing supplier with these other bearings that, you know, was a reputable company, but turned out they had a problem, probably because they probably had a problem getting the supplies they needed. Yet again, during COVID, everybody was having supply problems, so I don't necessarily blame this, or I don't at all blame this on the machine or the company, the Wildfire Lift company. You know, it just is what it is. Sometimes you just end up getting products that aren't quite up to par at certain times, and that's not the fault of the company. That's the fault of the person that supplies that part. Which I also have to say, in that last video, assumed that these came straight from China or Japan or wherever, a foreign country. And now I've since learned that they do their own in-house stuff. They build and put these together in their own place. So, you know, it is actually, they put people to work here, which is good. Yet again, I will say, bar none, best service ever. They're super nice, super helpful, and they will help you out if you have a problem. So if you're worried about buying one of these and, you know, then you're all of a sudden left in the dark, not knowing where to get parts and pieces or not knowing who to talk to, don't worry about that. You will talk to somebody at this company and they will take care of the problem. So yet again, I am amazingly happy not only with the lift, the quality still of the lift, the safety of the lift. I am happy with everything, but bar none, best service ever I've ever had at any company at all. And yet again, not being paid to say any of this stuff. It is the truth. So, you know, when it comes to these lifts, I would buy, if I could afford and had room for another one, I would buy another one of these lifts. Even at the price, it's more money now, and even at that price, I would buy one of these lifts. In fact, if I ever was able to upgrade my shop, so keep watching this video so I can afford to maybe upgrade my shop, but if I was to upgrade my shop, I would go out and I would buy another one of these from those guys. So just so you know, absolutely no qualms in using nor buying another one of these lifts if I could. It's been a couple days and I got parts in. Now I gotta take a look at them. So I'm gonna pull these out so I can take a look at them and see what we got here. Oh wow. Wow. I'm thinking he sent me maybe a whole set of bearings and pulleys. I think he sent me pulleys enough to replace all the underneath pulleys, and they have these machine, or you know, I can't tell, it kind of looks like there's two pieces and then they're pressed together in the middle here, but they're solidly set together. It used to be, and I'll have to show this to you when I pull this apart, but there was two pulleys with a spacer in between them. So that's the design they have in there right now. Now to replace that, it appears they just have two pulleys kind of machined and put together here. So what I want to say right now, before you go calling them and saying, well, I want the updated pulleys and stuff that you sent this guy on YouTube. First of all, I am on YouTube. I'm not the biggest YouTuber ever, but you know, obviously people do listen to certain videos about these machines, and mine are some of the more watched ones out there, I guess. But regardless, I can't guarantee they're going to send you this for free like they did me, because it does state in the warranty that they are not responsible if they choose to upgrade or update their machines in the future. They are not responsible to upgrade your machine just because you have an older version. They could have sent me this. I would have probably been plenty happy with it, but it is, I will admit, I asked, do you have upgraded bearings? Because, you know, obviously there's something there with the bearings at the time I bought this machine. And I will also say they have already upgraded these a long time ago on their machines. So it's not like they're just doing this for me. Their machines now will come with these type of bearings in them, the upgraded ones. But because I asked, you know, do you have upgraded bearings? You know, because if not, I may try a different route. And I thought about going and just getting some bearings that are this size, putting in my pulleys and calling it a day. But after he told me the story about, you know, why they had a few problems with some of the bearings, and he told me that they did have an upgraded pulley that he was willing to send me. Yet again, I'm a YouTuber, that's probably why he sent these to me. Don't expect to get a free one just because you have an older machine and you want a new version of it. If you want, you could probably buy these from them and upgrade your machine all you want. In fact, either in this video or another video, it depends on how long this goes, I will be doing a video on installing these. So there's the deal there. Now I will also say these all look really good. I do have one here I'm a little concerned about, just because it looks like somewhere in shipping there was a little bit of damage to this outer seal here. There's kind of a black seal. These are sealed bearings, sort of. Sealed bearings aren't really sealed bearings, but that's a whole nother story, and I'm sure there's plenty of people who would like to argue with me. But I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and kind of will look inside, see what's there, and I'm going to check and make sure there's grease in it. And I also know, in pulling some of these apart in the past, and I don't know, I was hoping maybe this whole bearing would come out. I'm sure if I got in there and pounded it out I could, but I don't want to do that, nor do I need to do that. The rest of this looks good. I'm going to look down in there at that one. But these do have, like the rest of these, I don't really see a spot where I'd want to go in there with the screwdriver, but this one is a little bit, I won't call it warped, but a little bit bent up a little bit here. So I am going to go ahead and peel this outer seal off, just because it's already it was kind of popping up over here as it was. And what this is, it's kind of a plastic, but it does have a metal seal here, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of wobbly. Now, all it takes to kind of fix this is bending it back in place. Just kind of straighten it out. I'm sure this was probably a shipping thing, because you never get anything anymore that's not damaged in shipping. And this is also where I say, if you choose to do something I do and you damage something, I'm not responsible. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, don't do it. But I'm going to go ahead and, because it's just a little chunk of metal here that kind of you can flatten it out. And while I'm at it, I don't know if you can see, but there's the bearings. They actually look a little bigger. I can't tell exactly, and I don't want to go dig for the ones that I had. But there's definitely a white, probably lithium type grease down in there. It looks pretty okay. And everything's turning fine. I'm not seeing any. In fact, these are a completely different bearing. these are not ball bearings, it doesn't appear. So this is a completely different design here. These are more like a regular, almost like this. Like a small version of this, but rolling around here, in here. So I don't know how it's designed, but it's definitely different. So you can say if you order these, you will get a different type of bearing. I don't know if these ones are the same as before or not. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this. And you definitely got to be careful if you're doing this kind of stuff, because you can mess things up. But it feels good. I'm happy with it. It definitely looks like there's a bottom and a top to this, so make sure if you can take this off, you're getting it in the right place. There, yeah, that looks really good. I'm happy with that. So, a little bit of something there. Damage in shipping. You're going to have that kind of stuff. But, all in all, I'm very happy with this piece right here and the fact they sent me all these. Of course, I forgot to put my microphone on. I've got to figure that out. But regardless, I got it all put back together. I'm very happy. Let's see, it was this one here. I can't even hardly tell. I'm happy with what we got going here. Everything looks all right. Good to go, hunky-dory, anything else you want to call it. I don't know if you got in there that those bearings are definitely a different kind of bearing than the ones that are in the other ones. They look more like this type of bearing where they're just kind of round like this and flat on the sides, it appears. They're definitely not like a regular ball bearing anyway. It didn't appear anyways. And definitely had grease in there, so we're good there. And I'll pay attention and keep up on these things. You know, I do videos anytime I have problems, and I do videos a lot. I have a ton of videos on how to utilize this machine to take more advantage of it, to use it for things other than just lifting cars over your head. So go check out my videos as far as that's concerned. All right, I need to finish the project, which is my truck, and thank goodness I don't need to lift my truck up anymore for this project. And I need to finish it up, get this out of the garage, and then I will be able to go ahead and put these in. Until then, I'm going to put these back. I'm going to go ahead and do a separate video on installing those parts. Hopefully you got something out of this and you are comfortable buying one of these if you're looking at one of these kind of lifts, because yet again, even with the couple things that have happened, I would full on buy another one of these again. As well as I want to thank Wildfire Lifts, not a sponsor, just thanking them because they are a good company. They have helped me out and they've worked with me in the couple of things that I needed work or help with. So, and right away, I mean, I didn't have to wait days and days. It was I left a message and he called me back not too long later. So, you know, service undeniably awesome. So thanks again. Now get out there and get your junk working. Thanks for watching Junk Works Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one.